Welcome to another episode of the Call to Cinema. And tonight we're taking a bit of a different approach. I wanted to do something that was going to be sort of a, how are we going to put this? Something that would be open-ended so that it could open up a lot of conversation that we could talk about, we could discuss. And hopefully we'll get some people in here for that. Because tonight what I want to talk about is basically some kind of cool like sets and movies and different things that I don't normally talk about, or for some reason or another doesn't really make it into a lot of my regular videos. Now, if you are watching this afterwards, you say the screenshot, one of the videos, one of the things I'm holding up, you're going to be say, that seems like it should be a pretty popular thing to talk about. Hey there, Sardis. You caught me. You're the first person to come in here. So tonight we are going to deal with that. Now, if you are part of my Crimson Cult, hey there, George. I will say right now, I made a video tonight that I am very proud of. So don't forget to check that out later. It is a review of one of, hey there, Kay, hey there, Zach, Jess Franco's very different films, and probably one of his most personal, and in my opinion, one of his most important works that he's ever made. So if you're a Crimson Cult member, make sure you check that out because it was definitely labor of love, and I really, really am proud of that video. I'd like to get your opinion on it. So let me open up the comment section so I don't miss anybody here, as we start to let people kind of hopefully come on in. If you've just got in here right now, hey there, David. Please hit the like button. It really, really does help out my channel, and it's how you know and how you're getting these notifications in the first place is that people remember to hit the like button, and thank you so much for that, guys. Hey there, Griff. So I wanted to do something that was going to be pretty easy. Hey there, Dave. Pretty easy to talk about, pretty easy to discuss. So I picked up some sets, some movies. I've gone into different genres. So we got some classic stuff. We even got some TV stuff. We got some animation, some horror. We've got some wrestling. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we got to look into. So you'll get a kind of like a crisscross of some of the stuff that I really like, that I really enjoy, and that for some reason or another, hey there, Elvin, has not made it into videos, or have not made it into prominently into videos in the past, which doesn't mean to say that they're not going to in the future. So let's start off with a fairly big one, and but before I do, because I'm always going to give that second for before I do that, one person left when I said that. I am saddened by that. I want to let you guys speak for a minute before I start the list portion of the video. Is there anything in collecting or movie wise or something that really interests you that you really wanted to discuss or talk about tonight, that we can talk about, kind of know now, or be ready to discuss later? It's great, especially at the beginning of a video, if there's something that you're excited to know about, or you're excited to hear my opinion on, or the cult's opinion on, to just blurt it out. That's what we're here for. Because if it's a quiet video, it's you just ordered the Criterion Essential Fellini. I'm super jealous, but super excited for your Sardis. It looks like an amazing set. What I love about that Fellini set is, and I do not have it, but I've seen some really good unboxings of it online, is, and I do need to get that set. It looks like, if you're a record collector, if you collect vinyl, it looks like one of those vinyl kit sets when you buy a set of vinyl records, especially those old school ones where you get a lot of the classic, classic records. Fellini is a great dive, and unlike the Bergman one, which is a bit of a challenging dive, Fellini is much more open for people. I will be doing another video like that in the near future, Zach. I got some books coming, and there's some books that I'm looking forward to hopefully grabbing in the new year as well. So if you like that video, I got to say it's one to definitely. To let me know, because it's something that I really enjoy doing. I did mention Mono's Hunting Ground, but it's always good to, hey there, Al, to mention it again. Hunting Ground, I think, is done by Spanish director, and I will totally butcher the name, Jorge Grau. So they've done a few of his work throughout, with Mondo, and I definitely recommend checking that out because I'm definitely gonna be checking it out. Hey there, Jason. I'm sure Jason's gonna be getting Hunting Ground from Mondo Macabra. It just seems like a Jason type work. And Jason, if you are on my Patreon, which I think you are, Jess Franco review came up tonight. You'll have noticed that I'm working extra hard on my Crimson Cult page, and hopefully you guys are noticing that because I've been inspired to. So, set number 1. Alfred Hitchcock, The Classic Collection. Now, I do often talk about the Masterpiece Collection on here, and I actually have shown that quite a few times. I've even done a video with Coffee with Aliens. Hey there, Flip. Welcome, man. Me and Flip and Brian are going to be doing a video in the near future, which you guys should be looking out for. Can I say the day yet, or should I wait? I'll let Flip be the person to announce that. But this was a cool little one. Now, I picked this one up for like $10. All right, guys. So, on December the 21st, that's this upcoming Monday, and Flip will know the time because I don't know I'm not good at the time portion of it. Me and Flip and Brian Sauer from Just to This podcast, from Just to This YouTube channel, and of course from Pure Cinema, will be on here doing a live 3-person stream on Flip's channel talking about our top 5 releases of 2020. Things that we really enjoyed, that are big 5 discoveries of the year. So if you like my channel, which hopefully you do because you're here, if you're a fan of Brian Sauer and Just the Disc, if you're a fan of Flip and his amazing channel, which is incredible, which if you are not checking out, you really should, then definitely be here Monday the 21st while on Flip's channel. So make sure you're subscribed to listen to us talk about it, because I think we should have a blast. I'm sure we'll all have different choices. You are welcome. I'm actually really looking forward to it. This I bought for $10. I think this one's more expensive now. I'm not sure if it's still available, but it was a really good little set. It has 3 Blu-rays in here with earlier works by Hitchcock, Notorious, Rebecca, and Spellbound. 3 of these are really good, and I think Spellbound is extremely underrated as one. And the really nice thing about this is it isn't on 1 disc. It actually is 3 discs. So you see Rebecca right here, and you get Notorious, and of course the classic Spellbound. Hey there, Mid-Level. We're talking about some stuff that I don't actually talk about on my channel a lot, but I'm going to be just going over today. So if you're a fan of just movie sets, or if you're a fan of different TV stuff or wrestling or animation, you're going to get a bit of everything here tonight. And it's going to be very free flow and open, so talk about whatever you want to. If you have anything coming up, by the way, guys, at any of your channels, please, as always, feel free to promote anything that you're doing, whether it be a video or a podcast, or maybe you're writing something. Just grab the Criterion Notorious. Nice. I've forgotten that the Criterion had put out the Notorious on as a Criterion release. I have this is the pretty just the bare bones release, but that's actually is a really good transfer. So it's one that I do recommend if you as a primer to getting the Criterion down the road. Now I'm sure Flip is going to be proud of me for this next one, as are some of you, because I don't show a lot of martial arts or any of those style films on my channel. Most of the time, Spellbound. Rebecca's okay. Some people trash me for that. I like Rebecca. Rebecca's more more of a straightforward romance, with with dark undertonings. But Spellbound is something that I really think's underrated. Yeah, unfortunately don't have a lot of martial arts in my collection, so I don't get to talk about it a lot. I need more martial arts. But one of the very first things that I got, Michael, you'll appreciate this one. is this baby right here. When me and my better half got together, this was one of the first movies we bought together, and totally agreed on. So it'll give you like a kind of an idea of some of the stuff that we do like. And this is Amazons versus Superman. So I'm gonna let that sink in for a second there to see if anybody owns this rare scope edition. Which was a BCI label, by the way, of Amazons versus Superman. This is I know, Flip, you know it. This is insane. It is fun. It is crazy. It's insane. Now I haven't seen this since we initially bought this, and when we initially got it, we went home. We watched it immediately. We had a blast, and I think we watched it again a couple years later. Uh, but it was done back, I think, at like '73, somewhere around there. But it is great. It's nuts. It's insane. Uh, and because I'm not going to do it justice, I'm going to read the back. I'm going to do that. Some people hate that, but I'm going to do that. So here we go. Basically, Italian producer Ciano Fiorentini. I suck at names. Enlisted the cooperation of Hong Kong's largest film studio, the Shaw Brothers, to make Amazons versus Superman. Set back in ancient times when Greek culture ruled the world, the story deals with the conflict between a race of warrior women, the villagers whom they hold in bondage, the three men who dedicate themselves to setting them free, a Caucasian named Arrow, Tago, a giant son of Africa, and the Oriental Chang, take on a whole army of Amazons using their amazing agility, knowledge of martial arts, and their ability to invent strange weapons. Yes, very strange weapons of war. The heroes proving themselves to be a match for the warrior women. Filmed entirely in Italy. This is a martial arts film filmed entirely in Italy with help from the Shaw Brothers, who put out some of the best stuff. I would love to have a Blu-ray upgrade of this title because, oh yes, Zach, you do have to see it. It is glorious. Do you not agree, Flip? Because I'm pretty sure you got this one. Flip has them all, man. And I just love the insanity of the way this looks. And it's one of those, if you've seen movies like Raw Force and stuff like that, and you're wondering, is there like kind of a martial arts version of that? Oh, is this one English dubbed? Yeah, this one is English dubbed. Now, I do prefer to have like subtitled, but I'm okay with getting a dubbed film when it's something like this because I used to watch a lot of those like martial arts films growing up. They were like a major deal for me, and I would watch them dubbed. So it wouldn't be like the guy, it wouldn't be like the nice subtitling and all that, and you get the inflection. It would always be something along the lines of "You have killed my dog," that type of stuff. That's yeah. Sorry guys, but I love that style of cinema, and it is sorely lacking in my collection. 88 Films and companies like that have put out a ton of this stuff. Companies like Second Sight, and I really, really need to get more of this greatness. Oh no, well, I always gotta designate because a lot of it sometimes you get the subtitles. All right. So next up, because there's a whole bunch of these, is a release by MVD Visual. And I do talk about MVD Rewind Collection quite a bit actually, but this one is like it's definitely low budget. It's definitely a little bit on the insane side. I do like the way that it's done. I was very impressed with especially on the budget, with the effects work that they were able to do. There's actually two of these. I don't have the second one, and I don't know if it's been put out, but the first one got what I consider the sexy slipcase. I'm not joking. This is a sexy ass slipcase. This is the Unnamable. H.P. Lovecraft's The Unnamable. I know what you did listen. I'd really want it. But things have been so late coming that I'm not quite sure. And like a lot of people, it's getting so close to Christmas. It's like, empty pockets. But Hopefully, George, in the future, that's one I do want to get because I'm a huge fan of those films and the turning around, you know, aspect that Jennifer Love Hewitt does. Not so much a huge fan of the third film. See, it's uncut at a Lovecraft convention. See, we don't get any of that stuff here, man. I live in like Atlantic Canada, so we got a drive-in. That's the big one. Anything special? That's actually a good question, George. You know if there's anything special in feature-wise? Now there is a different. This is the case that probably most of you are remember when it comes to the name. Well, this is usually what you know for the artwork for it. It's actually a really fun little film. This is a 4K restoration of it here. There's a great little audio commentary with the cast of the film on here, and you know pretty much everybody is interviewed. Video interviews with the actors, video interviews with the actress on here. It's a loaded disc, and I was kind of hey there Dustin, welcome man. I was super surprised. I grabbed this one up in Bay Street Video. So if you live in the Toronto area, I do recommend that you check out Bay Street Video. It's a really really good store. Warlock knows all about it because he's been there. I see. I like it. I mean, like this is one I can get it. Like, but it is almost along the lines. I would say it's along the lines of like a regional horror. It's that kind of like micro to low budgeted. And when you think of the budget that they had and what they were working with, they really put off some pretty impressive stuff for what they did. As always, H.P. Lovecraft is one of those guys that is really hard to interpret into the visual medium. Like we try, and the closest we've ever gotten is probably Richard Stanley, and of course John Carpenter's amazing in The Mouth of Madness. That's the closest you're gonna get to real like batshit insane, like H.P. Lovecraftian stuff. Lovecraft himself, not exactly the nicest dude, but his stuff was really interesting to check out. Now, this is going to be going all over the place, just so you know that. And as always, you know, it's something you probably expect from me anyway. But at least you like cats. Yeah, there. Anybody that like cats isn't totally bad. Heather Scotter. Maybe most, if not totally. Stuart Gordon's done some great stuff. Representative of the work? No. Great stuff, though? Yes, I 100% agree. From Beyond is one of my favorites. When I got to meet Jeffrey Combs, when the first I got him to sign my Beyond Reanimator, like a disc that I got from Arrow, and the poster. Xenomorph likes cats. But I told him that my favorite film that he'd ever done, and he was extremely surprised because most people either went up and mentioned Star Trek to him or they mentioned Reanimator. I said my favorite was From Beyond, and he said, you know, I thought I was miscast in that film. He said I thought that Bruce Abbott should have had the role that I played in there. He said when they cast me from Beyond, he's like, are you sure it's me that you want? So that was different, and we all love From Beyond because also Barbara Crampton, and also amazing Ken Frey, but Barbara Crampton and that the Domination outfit. Barbara Crampton and Dominatrix outfit, gotta love it. Stuart Gordon and Marissa Tomei in the same weekend. That's an awesome meet. Marissa Tomei, she is gorgeous as she looks because, oh my god. Some people, like, they look fantastic, you know, and they look good off camera too. I remember meeting Charisma Carpenter at a convention, and I couldn't get over the fact that she she's an extraordinary looking woman, but she looks way better in person, and than she does on Buffy or whatever you've seen her in. So yeah, take that as a next time that you're thinking like, oh, do I want to see Chris McCartney? You do. She's gorgeous. All right, ready for this one? This one's a bit nuts. And I just showed you Amazon versus Superman. Okay, so this is, of course, this is a full moon release. You just saw From Beyond. It is such a good film, mid-level media. Such a fun film. Though Ken Foray's outfit, his undies, that was something you don't forget. Just gonna say that right now. Okay, so this is one of the many full moon like Grindhouse collection releases that they put out there, but this one stands out to me because of one of those compilation things, and I do like. I really enjoy those because I find that I'll watch these compilation tapes and then I'll want to go out and just get every single film that I've seen there. Now these are definitely differently put together. This one is Zombie-thon, and then you get Film Gore, which is kind of what you think it is. It's hosted by Elvira though, so that's really good. Now as for Zombie-thon, it's been a while since I've seen it. So I do not remember who or if anybody does actually host this one here. And the third one's actually a film that is actually kind of two films because Savage Island is a film with Linda Blair, but she's really kind of like in the wraparound. He bought a film, and it was I think it was the one of the Filipino films, and pretty much decided, this is a good film. This would be an even better selling film if maybe I had Linda Blair somewhere in it. Obviously, wasn't in the film, but we can put her at the beginning of the film. We can tie her in there somehow, and they did that with Savage Island. So if you've not seen this, it's a really fun little one. With their Grindhouse releases, what they do for these here is they each get their own disc, so they're not stuck on one disc or anything like that. And I do love the way that these here are done. And I did want to give something different and unique in when I'm doing this list. So you're going to see a lot of different stuff here. So if you don't see something that hits your fancy, the next one might. Although I got a couple people that just left the channel because I don't know, because maybe they don't like the fact that I'm talking about stuff that's not always super crazy. Full Moon will have a half-off DVD and Blu-ray sale starting December 23rd. Okay, so it looks like I may have to go in. I don't have a lot of Full Moon, but I'll and do like a Full Moon video right before the sale starts. So we'll try and do that. And all right, so here's one. That's kind of the idea behind it. Is the full? I wouldn't say the VHS quality, but some of them are pretty like not the greatest quality. But that's what they kind of go with. That it's not like a surprise. It's not like it's Grindhouse, and that's what they're working with. That's what the whole label, the Grindhouse label, is kind of be like. It's kind of like that's what they're promoting. So there you go. No, they're not. Like the ones that I got haven't been anyway. Like I would not say they're pixelated. There have been like mixed stuff, but no, like by far and large not. Now I've had some pixelated stuff come up from like Echo Bridge when I bought some Full Moon stuff, and they bought like 8 movies on a disc and stuff. Yeah, that can happen, but no, I haven't seen anything. Have I seen Edition? I have seen the movie. I don't own the one that they did. I did want to get like I know 88 Films put it out because 88 Films did some of the Grindhouse releases themselves on Blu-ray and on DVD too actually. And they put out like 2 movies. You get like a bonus movie when you buy it. So I said I was going to buy the 88 Films editions of a lot of these. Uh, that rather than like buy the because I could get 2 films rather than have to buy them separately. I think Edition was on. I'm not sure which one. Honestly, I'm hoping Echo Bridge is Echo Bridge still around. That they get better because the difference between Echo Bridge and like the early Mill Creek stuff is you could see early on that Mill Creek was striving to make like a path forward, and obviously they did. They've come a long way. Uh, but Echo Bridge seems to be like kind of spinning the wheels a bit. At least the Echo Bridge stuff that I've seen. Now it may have gotten a lot better. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm giving every company like a free pass into 2021, so we can actually check out some stuff that they've done. I heard dubbed only. It really depends. I mean, like there was one that God I had, and it had literally had And I'm not sure if maybe it was an error that was done in the coding or whatever, but it pretty much looked like a burn when you put the disc in. Like the menu was that kind of basic, but this was early on with Echo Bridge, so I don't know what they're like now because I don't have a lot of their releases. The Platinum Watermark, I know that brings me back, Warlock. Actually, hey there, Michael, welcome, man. I'm talking about all this like really insane stuff, Michael, stuff like Unnamable, Amazons versus Superman, and I'm gonna mention the most like mainstream thing in the world next, just because I wanted to speak about this set, and I don't normally find another way to do it. And it's been put out on 4K, but my cousin got me this release a couple years ago for Christmas, and it's one of my favorite releases, and I watch it a lot. And this is about as mainstream as I get, guys. So you ready? It's the Back to the Future, the Complete Adventures. So obviously there's a 4K edition of this out there now, but I really, really love this edition of Back to the Future because you get all three films like on Blu-ray. You get the complete 26 episodes of the animated series. Because Back to the Future had an animated show, pretty much dealing with Doc's kids, and plus you get like a bonus disc with the original short and like a bunch of stuff like on here, a 64-page book. It's insane what's on this set. I'm not quite sure what's on the 4K set, and I definitely I will eventually get the 4K set down the road. But if you want to talk about like a perfect trilogy, for me, like 100%, Back to the Future is a perfect trilogy. This, and I'm gonna say it right now. The second one is probably, there's the animated one, by the way. The second one is probably the one that I like least, but I know a lot of people love the second one most. But I really like the third one. Third is one that I got into a lot when I actually finally got to see it again. But anyway, Back to the Future. What the most mainstream thing you're going to see on this channel tonight. And just because it's one of my favorite trilogies. I grew up with it. I saw all three of them in theater. I actually really do like the cartoon series as well. And I wanted to have that listed here because sometimes I get asked, do you ever talk about anything that's like, just regular stuff? And yeah, I do. I watch regular stuff. Every movie I watch isn't like Fulci or Franco, or a lot of it is. But 100% mid-level. Back to the Future Part 3 is extremely underrated. Can you get the animated version separately? I think so, Sardis, but I don't know for sure. Now somebody here may know. Now my cousin went out and bought me that set there, and that has the complete thing. And I really wanted the anime. I'm a huge animation fan. For those that know, I'm a big geek for animation. So is my better half. She was watching Boomerang tonight, and it's an animation channel. And she was saying, this makes me wish I had more animation in my collection, because she collects we got like a lot of Hanna-Barbera here, but there's still a lot that we're missing. And because Warner Archives is harder and more expensive for us to buy here, we don't have there's a lot really big holes in our collection. And trust me, she reminds me. Mary Steenburgen is great in everything she does. My favorite film, and I'm pretty sure it's her, so if I'm wrong, I'm going to feel really. And it is, Time After Time. If you've never seen Time After Time, I actually don't have it in my collection. I wish I did. But I used to watch it all the time. We had the VHS of it. Time After Time is a really, really good film with Malcolm McDowell, just David Warner as Jack the Ripper. It's such a fantastic film, and you're watching it when it came out, watching it today, it still stands up, and especially now because David Warner, and of course with we've got we've got McDowell, and it pretty much he looks at him and he says, this, you picture this utopia, this amazing world that would be fantastic and wonderful. That was the future. He said, but the future's for me. This is my world. There's so much like violence and anger and hatred, and it is a really good film. Did I pick up the 80th anniversary Bugs? I haven't, Ellen, because I am broke. So, but I'm hoping to get it after Christmas. I know that my Walmart had it for $69, which actually is the cheapest price that I've seen for that set yet. Usually it's around 80 or 100 here in Canada. You got the Hammer set, Brian. Nice. Congratulations. Let me know what you think, by the way, because I really love that set. If you've listened to the podcast I did with Daniel on cobwebs, then you've heard me talking about it like ad nauseum. And if and I think you're on my Patreon channel too. And I did I do a video on there for Patreon? I think I did, didn't I? A Hammer one. I did one on the main channel. I know that. All right. So, are you ready for some cool? I still haven't got mine, Warlock. Even like sent them an email because I'm fed up, and I know it's not their fault, but it's like, and I will be bluntly honest with you, and you guys know you've been following my channel. This has not been the best month for me, like hands down. This has been a pretty rough month, and this like the Vinegar Syndrome thing is and I, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Uh, See, the thing is, like here in Matthew, I'm here in Canada, and they could. I haven't gotten a shipping notice. I could get one on Monday, and that would probably mean I'm not going to have it for Christmas. So I put everything into that boat of like, so you, oh yeah, but you're going to get yours on Christmas Eve, so that means I'm not. Of like, okay, this I'm going to go all in. I'm heavily supporting a Vinegar Syndrome. I know that's going to be a popular sale. I know there's crazy stuff going on in the world right now, but I don't think it's going to be after Christmas. I think everybody should get their stuff by then. And I can't even go on Facebook anymore without seeing somebody else that's popped up with their Vinegar Syndrome package that they just received, or talking about the fact that they just got a notification. I am bitter at this point. I don't have the email address for the guy from in Canada, but I know his name is Andy. Really nice guy, by the way. That's the thing. Like I am like at this point right now, because I like, guys. This has been one of those times. It's not sweet Vinegar Syndrome for me right now, man. When it's the one thing you got going, like you're like, this is gonna be the one thing. I actually can't watch the unboxing. Um, but I want to. I really do, because I love Brian's channel. Brian does amazing unboxings. And I did see, like last night, I was watching Michael Keene's like video, like his review of the November package. But yeah, I'm bitter, guys. I'm angry. I'm like, you rarely see me like get angry on about anything, like especially for something like as inconsequential as getting movies. But and this month, the way this month has been, yeah, it's been a rough one. That's why I'm making all these videos, because I'm trying to distract myself from the fact that I am not feeling very confident about it. Your gift to us will be, hopefully, Michael, in January, because we know what's happening, and sigh of relief. Do you want to say anything? Fingers crossed. Severin, mine came out a long time ago from Severin. It's just stuck somewhere, and that's the thing that worries me so much. Severin came through USPS. It's here somewhere in Canada. On the 14th, it was in Toronto. So haven't had an update since then. So I don't know if how to contact or how I would contact. I tried to put it into like the Canada Post thing. There's just like Jack on like Canada Post. American cinema should give to the world. Okay, all right. Just so you know, Italian cinema. That's kind of my thing. Yeah, they did post that all their stuff was done. Besides, I think I'm back order type. And they were, and people rag on them. Yeah, but they do it better. Like I'm gonna be a little controversial here, Michael. Hey there, Ringo. They do it better. There's the thing. Westerns, good, okay, yeah. Like your westerns, that's great. But you know what I love? Spaghetti westerns. Like, love spaghetti westerns. Police thrillers, pretty cool. That's nice. Love your your hardball police thrillers. Your Clint Eastwoods and stuff like that. But Ray Lovelock and live live like a cop, live like a cop, die like a man. Yeah, I'm preferring that. Just saying, just putting it out there. Um, Sometimes you can imitate something and just do it better. And for me, Italians do that. But I love my American cinema too. I just love Italian cinema. I love spaghetti westerns. I really really do. There you go, Flip. I got some backup here with Flip. Who likes sleaze? What do I think of Argento's Card Player's not my favorite. I do. It's like it's a fun film. You have when you realize that Card Player, uh, your virgin eyes, Michael. When you realize that Card Player is kind of his take on CSI and the whole procedural, then Card Player really kind of clicks into place for you. But when you think of Card Player as being like a typical Dario Argento giallo, then it follows a bit. But if you take it as his take on the American procedural, the CSI type of stuff, that's exactly what it is. If you'd done like a CSI episode, it would be like the Card Player. So that's what you're getting with the Card Player. It's I don't see it as the Jello one. See, Sleepless, I love Sleepless. Trauma, the one shot him was shot in the United States, is actually a really good title. He only did two over in the U.S. He did Trauma, and of course he did Two Evil Eyes, like the one they did with George Romero before he went back. Trauma is extremely underrated. Just so you know. What about Argento's Dracula? Argento's Dracula is fun as hell, man. I'm gonna put it out there right now. It is it a good movie? Well, we're not gonna say it's a good movie. We're not gonna go there, but we are gonna say that it's fun. Like I want a T-shirt with that neon green praying mantis that Dracula turns into, which makes no sense. Like I want a T-shirt with that praying mantis on it. I looked over at my better half. We were watching the film, and I'm like, oh my god, like that mantis. I need a T-shirt with it. I need a T-shirt with that praying mantis on it. It's just one of those really, really cool little releases. As you guys know, I'm here in Canada. When I was growing up, when I was younger, we had like a theater that was nearby, and it was a smaller theater, so they couldn't get in a lot of the bigger releases. So instead of getting in that type of stuff, what we got a lot of like early Jackie Chan stuff, a lot of Argento releases. So because they didn't mind so much how old you were when you went in the door, I got to watch most of Argento's like early works like Tenebrae, Birds, Ghosts, and Plumage, like after they came out. I'm not that old, and stuff like that, like in the theater. So I think that's kind of where my love affair with Argento came into play, and of course, definitely much later, my super love of Azia Argento, who I think is amazing and has done some incredible work, and is one of my great celebrity crushes. Just getting the sleeves. Now do have to wait for the kids to go to bed before watching them. Understandable. Have I watched The Village? My better half really enjoys it. I thought it was okay, but it's one of those where I think that the Shyamalan, at the time, like the twists were such a big part of his films that this twist is so blatantly obvious that that it took away my enjoyment of the film. It's one I gotta rewatch again. Sleepless is 100% underrated, and it's an excellent film. It's got Max von Sydow. Can you believe that there's a Max von Sydow film that is underrated? Because yeah, there is, and, and it's that one. But The Hitchhiker. So who here knows The Hitchhiker? Warlock, Michael, Jason. Do you know this series? Because you're the three culprits that I would assume would know what this show is right now. Does nobody know Hitchhiker? Yeah, I knew it. I knew it, man. So, do you like sleazy HBO stuff? Like the early sleazy? You want to see some silver dancing nudity? Well, of course you do. Of course, that's something that's going to be that is going to be something that you're going to want to watch. Well, The Hitchhiker is a really good show for a lot. This is like pre-Red Shoe Diaries and all that type of stuff. Really well done. A lot of big cast, by the way. Throughout here, like a lot of big stars came through there. Kirstie Alley, Virginia Madsen. Just reading off the back here because I don't have, my memory's not that good. Oh yeah, this is kind of Tales from the Crypt. Tales from the Crypt with massive nudity. Tom Skerritt, Michael. I think Kelly Lynch. Who is it? I'm pretty sure there's an episode with. No, it might be Hitchhiker, it might be Femme Fatales, because I get them mixed up sometimes. That has Daniel Craig in it. Now, what's his name? So Paige Fletcher. So ending soldier, right on. Paige Fletcher was the host of Hitchhiker, the series, but not always actually. And the name eludes me, and I'm sure Warlock will know it. But the guy that starred in Da Vinci's Inquest, he's a pretty famous, like Canadian actor. He actually was the initial host of the Hitchhiker for the first like 3 or 4 episodes, and then he went on to do like a lot of other things. And Paige Fletcher took over, and there is like a similarity in the looks of both of those actors, so kind of makes sense. So far, unfortunately, this is the only volume I've been able to get. And this one is, what does it say? It says a complete collection, but it's not. It is so not the complete collection. It's a lot of it, but it's not the complete one. I checked online. I would love to say it's complete, but there you go. I gave you a sleazy show. So, Redemption, for some of you there that are watching, or maybe watching with your better half, and they're like, "What the hell are you watching?" I'm going to give you something more family oriented. Not Donnelly Rhodes. Donnelly Rhodes is the guy from from Danger Bay, and of course he was in my grandparents used to watch Young and Restless, so I know he was in Young and Restless early on, like even before I watched it, because they showed him flashbacks. But God, what's his name? It's killing me, guys. Oh my God, this is not even words. Nicholas Campbell. Nicholas Campbell, incredible actor, by the way. He's a guy that like you don't know that you know, but then you see him and stuff, and you realize, oh yeah, it's that guy again. It's a oh, check him out, man. Nicholas Campbell's done a lot of work. So I promise you something more family oriented, more family friendly, but still fun to watch. So don't think I'm losing my edge here. If I had an edge to begin with, but Thunderbirds, not the crappy film that they made years later, and yeah, it was really bad. But I love the original Thunderbirds. This is so fun. Is anybody here a fan? Are you a fan of Jerry Anderson's work? Landmark performance. He does put in many landmark performances. That is unfortunately not one of them. But one of these days, you realize that there's going to be like a whole generation that's going to be their rad. That's going to be their rad. Like they're going to say, I remember when, and no matter like the worst movie that you can imagine, like seeing like something that you suffered through. Trust me, 5, 10 years down the road, it's going to be on a boutique label. People are going to be loving it, and they're going to be saying, "Oh man, I have such great memories of this film." So there's always something there. Team America World Police, yeah, was a kind of a parody of Thunderbirds. Let me know what you think of those, by the way. My favorite on that set is definitely um, not New Kids, but what's it called again now? The third one. I got it over there on DVD. I got the Blu-ray of it, and I watch it all the time. My mind is gone tonight. But yeah, if you like Team America, then this is not Team America, but it is the same style of thing. Like they do really do the good homage with Team America. But Thunderbirds is just fun. In the In Crowd, thank you, Brian. It's actually really fun. Great cast for the In Crowd, by the way. This is an 8 DVD set. Yes, it's old school DVD. Freddie got fingered with Disney. Like seriously? Uh, okay, I don't expect that being coming out anytime soon. Didn't he purposely make Freddy Got Fingered a bad movie? See, here's the thing. When a movie doesn't do well, and they're trying to promote it afterwards, and hey, I should be like really behind Freddy Got Fingered because it's Tom Green, and Tom Green, like me, is Canadian. You know that because we're honestly, if you ever like hear a Canadian talk, you know immediately that we're Canadian. And you would think that a lot of times, it's, and other Canadians will know, even a person doesn't seem to be Canadian at first, will automatically know in a movie if someone is Canadian or not. And I'll tell you why. And it's not because of the accent, because, in films you can actually, when you're acting, there's different accents. You can do that. A lot of us can. I'm not so great at it. But when you're in Canada and you're growing up, one of the things that gets mentioned a lot is, hey, that Canadian accent, and they'll talk to you. Can you say about for me? And you'll say like about, and they'll be saying no, no, say it the way that you say it. And so you get a lot of that, right? So you're gonna notice and that there's a lot of like Canadian actors that are really tight with the way that they speak. Like they have really great like either announcing voices or speaking voices. People like Lauren Green, for instance, had a big booming voice. Um, Even like William Shatner, who speaks in a certain way, um, does one of the things is that we're very, very in the back of our heads when we're on stage, when we're acting. Uh, we are very, very. It's ingrained in us that we have a Canadian accent. It's an accent that people talk about, sometimes make fun of, and on when you're trying to work in an international setting, then you'll often get a stage voice that you use when you're acting on stage and such. And that's why you see a lot of Canadian actors that have this really kind of different like intonation to their voice, that they really work hard to have like a specific, almost nondescript voice, but I think it makes it even more descript when, especially to Canadian ears. So there you go, behind the curtains. Most Canadians sound like American accents. That's on purpose. I grew up like I lived in Atlantic Canada, I lived in Ontario, I lived in Alberta. So I lived all over the world in like my formative years, which was both good and bad in that I would go and move to a new area. And the thing was, like, every time that I moved to a new place, they would say, "You don't sound like you're from here." And that was one of those things. Oh, that's kind of nice at first. Hey there, River, welcome. But after a while, it kind of, if when you're moving around a lot and you're a kid, it's and you're like, and they're saying, you don't sound like you're from here. After a while, it's like you're you're not really from, you're not really going to fit in, are you? You're not there. You're not really one of us. You're not. It's not one of those things. So yeah, that's a tragedy of being Canadian and living around the world. Scaredy is back on medication, River, unfortunately. Uh, he was off of it, and we thought everything was great for a couple days, and then blood came back and urine with much stronger force. So we basically had to go get him some new medication, some stronger medication, some anti-inflammatories, and he had to have a blood test done. Well, blood test like a test, P test. So that's we're still like keeping our eyes very closely on him and making sure that he gets his medication and make sure the litter is changed like very very frequently. Every 2 days, the litter, no matter if it's ready to be changed or not, it's out. And we have like two big litters because we have three cats. But yeah, so we that's what we're doing right now. Anyway, we're making sure things are trying to like knock out anything that might cause it. Do I think the Hitchhiker was inspired by EC Comics? I think any anthology that's come around from like Alfred Hitchcock Presents to Tales, yeah, well, Tales from Crypts, obviously, but any anthology that came out like after EC Comics is in some way or another inspired by the EC Comics anthologies of the day. So you can take almost anything, like Red Shoe Zaman King's Red Shoe and have like an aspect of it, like the anthology aspect of it. Okay, the portmanteau, you'd say in the UK, is kind of like inspired from the old EC Comics. Now, speaking of creepy stuff, here's a sequel that I think is really good. Like we talked yesterday. The thing with that scare is that Scaredy is like a cat that is named that for his real name is Raoul, right? But Scaredy, we call him Scaredy. That's his nickname for a reason. First two Hammer films to dig into. Heath mentioned These Are the Damned, which I do recommend. If you haven't watched Hammer before, Revenge of Frankenstein is a really, really good title. I thought that was really well done. You want a really dark one to go into early on? Never Take Candy from a Stranger, which, by the way, let you know right out of the gate, deals with pedophilia, but it's a very tense film. But if you want just a really good fun film, really good suspense film, Cash on Demand. Like it's just a really great film. Peter Cushing is incredible in Cash on Demand. I've watched that set like twice, well, three times actually, because I had to review it. I had to review it for my channel. I had to review it for the Cobwebs podcast, and the reason it took like other people had to review, Heath had his review like long before me, but I had to go through it like a couple times, listen to the commentaries, all that type of stuff. What's my opinion on the film 8mm? I liked it actually. I thought it was pretty. I mean, it's hardcore, like the movie, like George C. Scott hardcore. It's kind of a. I thought it's a take on that sort of, but I enjoy it. Did you ever see 8mm too? To speak of like totally insane sequels, because yes, 8mm had a sequel for those that don't know it, and they said so 8mm is this really dark, kind of depressing film. So what do you do with a really dark, kind of depressing film like 8mm? just it's one of those insane films. Well, that you want to make a sequel out of. Obviously, you make an erotic thriller because what's sexier than 8 millimeter, right? So that's what they did, and of course they got Jonathan Shea. I think that's his name, how his name is pronounced. I could be wrong. Uh, I actually like it. I do like the sequel because I'm a big fan of these type of erotic thrillers. Who of course was also in Roadhouse 2, and it was in the remake of Prom Night, which I'm the only person that likes that film. But he did all of those films, and of course in DC in the DC universe, he's Jonah Hex on television. Anyway, Night of the Demons 2, Olive Films release. I don't talk about Olive a lot, and I don't have a lot of Olive in my collection, but this this is actually a cool little title. I actually really like this. Now, a lot of people rag on it. I don't have the third one. I'm not quite sure. Does the third one have a good release? If you guys know if it does or not, please let me know because I've never seen the third one around anywhere to grab. Like, not a good release of it anyway. But this one here was directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. So, anytime that you're wondering, if anybody comes up to you and says, hey, this can't be good. Like, Night of the Demons was a classic. How could Night of the Demons 2 be a good film? It shouldn't have even been made. That was a very odd voice for that. It's Brian Trenchard Smith, man. Like, that's the only thing you have to say. You just say, this is directed by Brian Trenchard Smith. And that should be enough. The guy that did Turkey Shoot, or AKA Escape 2000, right? I gotta get that, Mike. Is it a good book? Because Brian Trenchard Smith is one of those guys. I love his films. I love his commentaries. I absolutely adore his commentaries. And even his commentaries on those freaking trailers from hell, he's incredible with. So, Trenchard Smith, Night of the Demons 2, surprised that he did this, but you can tell. You can tell Trenchard Smith's work. You really can. He's one of those guys that you can tell. All right. Notice how we're kind of like flip-flopping back and forth on stuff. Do you have yet, Michael, the Stephen Thrower books? Which I'm guessing you probably do because you make films, and those are the ones you go for, like the Nightmare USA's and the Farce of Perversion. I'm finally getting them. Well, I'm getting the Jess Franco ones first because if you've seen my channel, Michael, it's no surprise that the first Stephen Thrower books that I go for are the Jess Franco ones, the tomes. It is such good stuff. All right, and in a very, very different direction, some animation that you guys, I don't know, may have missed out on. These are all Olive releases. Not on purpose, actually. I'd forgotten that they were. But if you want some trippy animation, I know that the Michael likes to partake of the devil's weed. So, depending on how you're feeling, Michael, these sets are either going to be fantastic for you or going to freak you the hell out. There's no two ways about it. God, that was lettuce in the. You realize that we're both getting into the older cool kid circles. So it's the Betty Boop collection that was put up by Olive Films. These are really good transfers, by the way, and all are fantastic. And much like Felix the Cat stuff, it is trippy as all heck. This is, if you like surreal cartoons, you like surreal animation, this is your mecca. This is the altar that you kneel at, because it doesn't get much more unique and surreal and different and just crazy than it does with the Betty Boop stuff. Betty Boop is one. You had a good animation instructor, man, because Betty Boop is one of those people that Fleischer Brothers, incredible. Obviously, animation is a great love of mine, especially when we're looking at the earlier stuff, like the Fleischer Brothers, the Betty Boop stuff, the Felix the Cat, the early stuff. They are. I mean, like they were really pricey for a while, and I only had like I think one volume on DVD. Right? You gotta grab it, all right, Ringo. Like you get it at a good price. I was at a local like movie store in Ontario, in Ottawa, and because we were visiting for an Ottawa Comic Con that was on the go. Big influence on top, a very big influence on Todd McFarlane. The fact that you know that gives you cool points, by the way. Is that we found this like little store and they had like secondhand or used like DVDs and Blu-rays in like mint condition. So we found like a bunch of stuff there. One of the things that we picked up that like a lot of people aren't gonna really care about, but it was called like Here Comes the Gump, which is like Depata Freeling did a bunch of stuff like animation when a lot of like TV stuff like when it came to like the the Inspector, Peter Pink Panther, Sheriff Hoot Flute, stuff like that. But one of the hard ones to get, one of the hard ones to find is this the Here Comes the Gump cartoon that they did, and it is insane, and I love it. But it was long out of print, so it was sitting right next to the Betty Boops when we went in, and it was like one of those like mind blown moments of like when you find something that you really don't think you're gonna find, that one of those things that you think you're gonna have to go on eBay and like spend a bunch of money for. So it was really nice, and we got all of those there, by the way, for like less than less than 10 less than no, not less than 10, around $15 for like all four of them, and like the Gump as well. So really well done with that one there. And now the geekier portion of the video. If there's been a Mr. Magoo release, but I don't know how good of a release it got. There is a release for Mr. Magoo. I'm not quite sure if it's still available though. It is pretty cool. Actually, if you're talking about the release with the Masters of the Universe 30th anniversary set with the Castle Grayskull, I'm looking at it right now. It's actually really cool. I'll show it there afterwards. Um, Doctor Who, the classic stuff. Some people kind of problematic too, but this is the Hinchcliffe Holmes era of Doctor Who. So if you're into like Hammer films, you like the Hammer, you like the classic, the gothic, the that style of like stuff. Oh yeah, these are UK only, and man, you got to pre-order them like early because they tend to go to stock and it'll print really quickly. So we get like regular edition. So hold on, I'll give you an example because there's like a huge difference in what we get here in North America and what the UK gets. Please have a booklet. All right. So, in here, in North America, this is what you get for a Doctor Who release, right? This is Tom Baker. This is the booklet. I'm not joking. And yeah. This, however, is what you get with the UK editions. So you open it up like this. Of course, this is from Face of Evil, I think. And we get, of course, the one from Deadly Assassin. Open up here, and it has a booklet on the inside. Layla. They also, right on the inside, you get to see everyone like has where there's different TARDISes, different. So you get to see the TARDIS as well. And unlike the uniformity of these releases, so this is what you get basically with this. You know, it's pretty much it's the same disc like art for all of them. With these here, hey there, Robert. Every one of these, the artwork is the artwork for that story. And when you get down to the end of it, notice this one has a lot of discs. You pop it the last disc, and there is the artwork from the opening of that season of Doctor Who, that series actually, because I don't call it season. He's taken to calling the older series of Doctor Who seasons because to differentiate it from the newer Doctor Who stuff, which really bothers me because when I was growing up, it was always called series, it wasn't called seasons. Waiting for the first Patrick Troughton set to be announced. He's your Patrick Troughton's an amazing Doctor. It's going to be hard for a lot of your stuff. You're going to have a lot of like animated episodes because so much has been lost in the Troughton years, Hartnell years too, but Troughton especially. I've only gotten 2 of the big sets so far. I've got that one, and I got Sylvester McCoy, the last season Doctor Who, which has the infamous like talking about the pretty much the plan, the big Cartmel plan, which is kind of being done now. All right, something that I also don't talk about very much, but I do like mention it in other places. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I watch a lot of that cheesy wrestling stuff, and when I was younger. Even when I was in college, man, I didn't get to watch much of it then because, you know, college, a lot of alcohol and girls. But I'd always get somebody to come along and say, hey, do you know do you know wrestling's fake? And I was like, it is? Oh, man. Well, my world is shattered. But yeah, that happened all the time. And a lot of times, no word of a lie, that would be my response because why not? Anyway, AEW, by the way, yes, if you're watching wrestling right now, AEW is what you should be watching because they do it right. WWE, not so much. But they did have a time when they did. But there was a company that I liked a lot. Now, back in the early days, I did a lot of tape trading. Remember the old stuff like you get like the Japanese death matches, the ECW stuff, the NJPW stuff, but I loved ECW. I was a really big fan of this. A lot of people don't like ECW. Little known fact, I was almost actually in a backyard wrestling promotion, but I said no. One of the many weird things I almost got involved in, backyard wrestling promotion. A shoot fighting promotion, which I didn't do. But yeah, because I'm older now and I want to keep my bones. What would my wrestling name be? I'm like a small dude, man. Like I'm like shorter guy, and I'm like look at me. I'm not a big dude. I'm no super jack guy. So I don't know. I didn't even think about it. Would have been like a Spike Dudley type, I guess. But this is Vaughn. There's a lot of really good matches on here. Tommy Dreamer versus Raven, the Hostile City Showdown. Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn. Barely Legal with Sabu versus Taz. Shane Douglas versus Bam Bam Bigelow, November to Remember. Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka. Fantastic stuff. Heron Superfly. Volume 2 has a lot of great stuff in as well. We got like another like over 20 hardcore matches. Tommy Dreamer versus Tasmaniac, of course, Taz. Cactus Jack versus Terry Funk. Sabu versus Chris Jericho. Shane Douglas versus Al Snow. See, as much as like it was hardcore wrestling a lot in ECW, they also had a lot of really good high flyers, and they had a lot of really good technicians as well. ECW was pretty much the forefront in like what was being done in wrestling. WCW and WWF, because that's what was called at the time, pretty much were stealing and cribbing stuff from ECW, including wrestlers and plot lines. Attitude Era, that's literally ECW. And this is the third and final volume. As far as I know, I don't think there's a fourth one yet. Is there, guys? Of course, we got like Rob Van Dam, and that's, of course, Jerry Lynn right there. That's one of his biggest feuds. And again, there's some great stuff on here. The BWO is on here as well. The Blue World Order. Dark Side of the Ring is really, really good. The New Jack episode. I used to go back and forth on that, like on like what I thought, right? Because part of me was like, that kid should have told them. Don Marie got her start in ECW. But there's like a ton of really great stuff here. The Eliminators versus Dudley Boys, really good match. Terry Funk versus Big Stevie Cool. Anything with Raven in it. I was a huge Raven fan. I'm not sure if anybody else was, but the whole, because I'm older, followed wrestling for a long time, got out of it every once in a while. But Johnny Polo, which was Scott Levy, a Raven's character, who he was before that, and they always say now, like, you're not going to believe that like that Raven played the WWF character of Johnny Polo and they're such uniquely different characters. No, Raven actually, the character Raven is really just an extension of the whole Johnny Polo like persona, where Johnny Polo is this rich kind of spoiled character in the WWF base, and when he goes over to become Raven, he's still the rich character. It's just he's rebelled. He's become very goth, very he's very like very cult like in what he does. The Raven's flock, the whole serotonin, the whole thing that Raven did over the years. And you can see I've watched a lot of wrestling right when I'm dropping names like serotonin there, he's just one of those wrestling minds, and that knows how to evolve, and has done a great job of it. But had to put it in there because I was a big fan of it. The Attitude Era, not my favorite release. Do I think Beyond the Mat's exploitive? I go back and forth on that, actually, Jacob. I thought it was a really well done one. I thought it was my only thing with Beyond the Mat, and I'll say this right now, is, well, the thing is, hopefully, Kubrick, that whether you find the WWF boring or not, is that you like my channel and me enough that I can make it interesting for you. See? So am I. But the whole thing with the with the whole Beyond the Mat thing is, it's a very the Bret Hart thing. What great timing that Bret Hart got screwed over. You might want to not say that to somebody that actually wrestles, though, Kubrick. The people that are popping pain pills because they're busting their bodies up, or the ones that have had died in the ring. They is it predetermined? Is it a show? Is it like kind of acting and stuff like that? Yeah, ballet for burly guys. It's a soap opera for men. They're stunt workers, and that hurts. So the one thing that I don't say it's fake, because that's actually denigrating the work that they do, and the people that have lost their lives over the years because of it. Just look at Mickey Rourke. Yeah, exactly. Look at the wrestler and see just how brutal it can be, and you hear stories like Bruiser Brody and stuff like that, and you realize, oh my God, yeah, But yeah. So anyway, it just seemed really. I do have the Eric Roberts, the one that was done on Fox TV. Movies are, oh no, I can't watch movies anymore. They're fake. Uh, so, but yeah, I just found it really suspicious that they're making this documentary. They're following Bret Hart around just at the time he's going to WCW and he's getting screwed over. And one of the biggest things are going on. I've always wondered about the Montreal screw job. Was there anything kind of real about about that? Like, it's been suspicious over the years. All right. And because I do love this company, I think they did a lot of great stuff early on. And with the whole AW crossover thing, I do recommend this: The History of TNA Year One. Now, I know that they had planned probably to do a yearly history of TNA, but as far as I can tell, uh, History of TNA is Year One is the only volume of this that ever came out. And they had some really unique stuff when they initially came out. Now, for those that don't know TNA, it's called Impact Wrestling now. It was called Total Nonstop Action, and basically they didn't have a TV station at the time to do their wrestling show on. So what they would do was they would have every week they'd have a 2 hour pay per view, and you could buy it. It'd be like $10. The very first TNA pay per view though was 1 cent. You paid 1 cent to watch it, and rather than have a regular show for the first couple of years at least, I think it was like these 2 hour long weekly pay per views with some of the greatest wrestlers that you can imagine, including guys like AJ Styles, Monty Brown back in the day when he was a big guy, guys like Christopher Daniels, and of course Petey with his Canadian Destroyer. Just look up the Canadian Destroyer; it's like wicked move. Uh, but yeah, so their early stuff was really really good. AW, yeah, I want to get some. I want some Blu-rays too, but I'll go with DVDs. I like DVDs for AW because I got most of my wrestling stuff on DVD. I don't have like a lot of Blu-ray wrestling stuff. Independent wrestling TV, a little bit. Like I don't know a lot of it. Like I do. I don't keep up as much as my better half does. Like my better half, like she didn't watch wrestling at all when I met her. She like kind of scoffed on it. That was her. That was kind of her thing. She was like, I don't want to watch that. And then like TNA was like, I think like Hogan was coming in around that time, or it was like just before. And she said, well, you like it, like why don't we kind of watch it together, right? And so we started to watch it a bit, and she kind of got into it. And now she loves watching those like wrestling like shows like Wrestle Talk channel, YouTube, Wrestle Talk Codaholic. Those are two of her favorite YouTube channels to watch. But there you go. That's my wrestling aspect of this right now. My debate on the channel. So thank you, Kubrick, for like doing that. Merry Christmas, Stallone. Not something I thought I'd ever say, but there we go. Great Mute is fantastic. 4K, you got good taste. I love Wrestle Talk too because Adam Blompied, of course, the dude that pretty much made like YouTube wrestling. Like he's the guy that popularized like YouTube wrestling videos and just brought them to a whole new level. And then he went over to Wrestle Talk, and of course he does the Quizlemania and of course the Cinemania, which I think is done by Luke Owens. Justin Thunder Liger. He's retired now, isn't he? Justin Thunder Liger. I think he retired was the last year. As King of the voiceovers. He's really good. Like you just watch interviews like Adam, like how I would have booked it, and you're like, oh my god, why isn't anybody like hiring Blampied to book wrestling? Because he would do a good job. Their cruiserweight division was beyond reproach. Have I seen To Your Last Death from earlier this year? No, I haven't actually. Nasty animated genre film with Ray Wise and William Shatner. It sounds like something I'd dig. Great Muta versus Sting. I remember the pay per view they did back in WCW days where it's like WCW versus like New Japan. And I think it was New Japan. It was really, really good. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. Some people didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it. I hate that WWE are using like War Games and other like WCW branded stuff because I don't think that they should. Do they have a cruiserweight? Oh yeah, they got a show, right? I've never seen it. I think I watched a couple episodes when Pac was there, but, but aside from that, no, no, not a. And I love like that type of stuff. It's just WWE just doesn't know how to do it. Nerdland. People mention Nerdland to me. I still haven't seen it. I watched the latest season of Big Mouth because I'm a fan of that show. Um, I just think they do some brilliant things with that series, and I think it's highly underrated. Not for everybody though. Like Big Mouth, not for everybody. Don't put down for the kids. Not a kids animated show. Sting, yeah, and they're doing it the right way. Cinematech is Sting is like he's older, and so they're not going to use Sting like to come out and wrestle every week. The best way to do Sting is to do him the way that he is basically most well utilized, and that's to have that Sting kind of like crowish type character where he can come out and kind of just like you don't know what he's going to do, or and it goes back to the glory days when he went away and then he came back with the crow thing. Might be doing a tag match. I'm eventually I'm going to see something with him and Cody. I think Cody's going to turn on him, and basically that's what's going to happen. We're going to see this. See, I like it. I mean, to each their own when it comes to that. I mean, I, s- I can understand it though. My better half doesn't like that type of animation either. Like she, it really turns her. Even if it's something that she kind of particularly likes, if she doesn't like the animation, she can't watch it. And like I've tried to get her to watch things like Gravity Falls and Rick and Morty, but she just really doesn't like that animation style, and it bothers her. So even though I think those are two fantastic animated series, Gravity Falls was amazing, and I think Rick and Morty still is, but she can't watch either of them. Sardis Big Mouth is a show on Netflix. Aqua Teen Hunger Force tonight. You. That's what I remember from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. That's all I remember from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. George M. Steele is actually one of those guys supposed to be a really well-spoken guy in real life. But again, the roles, right? So that's kind of what you expect, right? That's like I was speaking about Jess Franco earlier. My Patreon channel. If you're a Patreon supporter, if you're a Crimson Cult member, then you got a new video come up again tonight. Like I'm doing a lot of these on Patreon channel right now, talking about like Jess Franco's one of his most important films. So the and his muse Lena Romay, his second muse, his first muse was Soledad de Miranda, but his Lena Romay was kind of like the big like kind of like the big thing for Just Franco and Just Francophiles. Basically was very different in real life than she seemed on the camera. She was very much more she much more like a lot more frumpier clothes. She was much quieter, much more introspective than you would expect. She wasn't like wearing like a sheer nothing outfit. uh, well, Cody gave him a chance. He really did, but W messed it up. Did hear about Luke Skywalker? Don't. If this is anything about the Mandalorian, shut up now, because I haven't watched the second season yet. Just gonna put that out there. I'm gonna say that in the most respectfully nice way. That I don't want anything spoiled for me. The Shockmaster. I gotta love like the the shock. I love like every once in a while when I'm in a really bad mood, I will turn on that like the Shockmaster debut, and it is uh, so good. And you just watching them like kind of like try not to crack up. That or I'll like turn on that Scott Steiner like promo that he does. His math promo from TNA. Trust me, check it out. It is hilarious. All right, guys, but there you go. Just a shorter video tonight. Something something to basically, one, distract me from the crappiness of December, but also come in here and like talk to you guys because you guys are super awesome. I am Aaron. Thank you for joining me here in my movie library here tonight. You are the Cult of Cinema. If you are the Crimson Cult members, then you're going to notice, and hopefully you noticed. Have a great night there, Michael. I really liked the November video that you did. It was excellent. That you're getting a lot of new releases popping up on the, like a lot of new videos popping up, and I'm very proud of that. Have a great evening, guys. I will see you soon, right here in Cult Cinema.